Morning, everybody. I'm out for a little morning stroll. It's sunrise right now, but it's an overcast day, surprisingly. Yesterday was really hot, but this morning's cool, so I'm outside getting the early morning light through the clouds, telling my body it's time to wake up. It's about time for breakfast, too, so we're gonna eat for the day, and then we're gonna head out and hopefully get a nice hike in before it gets too hot. So we'll get breakfast started and keep getting this light, and we'll get the day going. Can hear all the birds and other animals waking up. It's time to start the day. So before we get out on the trail this morning, having a little breakfast, gonna have 1 pound of raw grass finished ground beef and a couple fillets of the wild caught fish that we got last week. So let's go ahead and eat and get fueled up for the day. It's still pretty cloudy out, but we're still getting the light. We're still hanging out outside through all the clouds. Should keep burning off as we eat breakfast, and then we'll be able to go out and get some movement in, get some grounding in, just have a good day. I was thinking what I wanted to say. All right, you guys, so we made it out on the trail. We're taking our first little stop at this lookout point. As you can see, I'm out here in the sun. It's about to be afternoon time, so the sun's getting higher and higher, which means we're getting more and more UV exposure, which is that good light, so we can be out here creating vitamin D. And if you see my feet, they're bare again, so I'm grounded on all these rocks. And we got the pretty views behind us, which are just nice to look at, getting the fresh air, getting our movement in for the day, starting to get the blood flowing, moving our bodies around. And we're gonna keep walking and keep taking in the views, hopefully climb on some rocks and have some fun. All right. All right, so we're still plugging away at the trail. The sun's really beating down now, but we're embracing it and accepting it for what it is. This trail's pretty uneven terrain as well, so it's good for our ankles, good for our legs, our knees, our feet. I'm gonna see if I can do a little quick run up this thing. All right, I like trying that little sprint that I just did on this uneven terrain. It's fun to try and hop around, so I'm gonna try and bust another one out, see how it goes. All right, felt pretty good. All right, so a follow-up to those quick couple sets of sprints. As I've said before, I think sprinting is one of the best ways we can move in terms of fitness. It's a super explosive movement, and it's really getting your entire body working, and it's a good form of cardio at the same time. So I recommend everyone give it a shot. I don't recommend you go straight into sprints if running's not something you normally do. I'd recommend starting off slower If all you can do is walk, do some walks and build your way up. If all you can do is jog and run, work your way up to that. And then when you feel comfortable, try a sprint. And you saw me sprinting on this trail in this cool spot in this really rugged terrain. And if you feel comfortable doing something like that, do it, because the more challenging it is, the better. And also, even if you're not in a cool place like this and have a nice trail to try sprints on, it's also something you can do anywhere, and it's also another free form of movement. So you can do it, like I said, absolutely anywhere. If you're walking from your car to the front door of the grocery store, sprint there. If you're going to pick your kids up from school, sprint to their classroom. If you're on your lunch break at work, sprint around the building. Or like I said, if you can't sprint, run it or walk it. Try and get in that extra movement. But I will say I love sprinting. It's one of the funnest forms of movement that I do. It's very powerful and makes me feel free, and I like to go fast, and I really recommend you try it. Oh, and also, right now I'm barefoot, but you saw me sprinting in my sandals. If I can, I will be barefoot when I sprint, but if I cannot, I will wear these sandals. Plug for these are Shama brand sandals, and they have virtually no sole to them. You can see how thin they are. I love these things. I do all my hiking, all my running that I can't do barefoot in them, and they're really good for your feet because they strengthen your feet by replicating basically being barefoot, because you're as closely connected to the ground as you can be. So having said all that, walk, run, sprint, do it all. Sprint if you can, do it barefoot if you can, do it outside, preferably in a beautiful place like this if you can find one. Get after it, you guys. All right, we made it to a cool little rock. We're gonna try and give it a climb, see what I can do. I'm not sure if this route is gonna be doable, but I'll try it. It's pretty steep right here. Not a ton to hold on to. I don't think I can do it. I'm gonna tap out before I get myself into too risky of a position, I think, because climbing down tends to be harder than climbing up, so I'm still gonna try and get to the top of this rock one way or another. That way didn't work out. And you know, it's just like anything in life. One way might not work, but you could try a different way. Maybe I'll go to the top of this peak instead. All right, well, that was doable. We didn't get onto that one, but we took a different route and still got to a cool destination. And it's a beautiful view from up here. It's a good day to be out here. All right, so we ended up making it to the top of that peak that I tried to climb at first and didn't quite succeed, but we tried a different route and made it. So this is going to be the end of our hike. I just wanted to show you guys this beautiful view that we have. We made it way up high and we did it all outside while stacking our quantum health habits all at the same time and having fun and enjoying the view. So we're going to hang here for a little bit and then make our way back down the hill or mountain or whatever you want to call it. If you think this is tall enough to be a mountain, let's go with that. So yeah, it was a nice hike out in the sun and I had a good time. You see this rock right here? It looks like it's doing this. Where'd it go? Oh, right there. Rock and roll, baby. Yeah. All right, so we just got done with our hike and got back to the van. I'm pretty thirsty from all that walking and being out in the sun, so I'm gonna hydrate a little with some natural spring water that I gather myself from a natural spring like I've showed you guys before. It's the best water I can get my hands on. It's straight from the source, straight from the ground. I bottle it myself right from the earth. It's got all the good natural minerals. So let's drink. So good. And I'll say that whole time we were out on that hike, I don't bring any water with me because I knew I'd be able to drink when I came back, but because of the raw diet, I don't need to drink as much water as people who are not on the raw diet because my meat has such a high water content in it because I don't cook any of the water out of it. And that's all metabolically created water by the animal. And the high fat content allows me to create a high amount of metabolic water within myself. So my diet keeps me well hydrated. And when I do need extra water, it's the natural spring water. So I really recommend you guys try and get your hands on some natural spring water if you can. Check out findaspring.org to find a spring near you. All right. All right, everybody, we made it back home from the camping trip. Had a really nice trip, and it's nice to be back home as well. Got to spend the whole day outside on the trail, and now we're outside in the front yard still getting some good sunlight, and I'm hungry from all the movement we did today, so it's dinner time. As usual, the dinner is 1 pound of raw grass-finished ground beef with some salt added into it. So I'm sitting out here, still soaking up the sun, taking a little shade right now, but getting it in my eyes and on my skin from all the reflection to the tree leaves. I'm sitting under the big oak tree, just enjoying a little peacefulness, and I'm gonna get to eating my dinner right now, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Healthy dinner, raw ground beef, grass finished, as I said, regeneratively farmed. It's local-ish, so it's the best quality beef I can get my hands on. It's got all the good quality saturated fats, high protein, all the natural vitamins and minerals still intact because we're eating it raw. Let's get into it. I can just feel my body taking it in right when I eat it. After doing the raw diet for so long, this is what I crave. My body knows that it's good for me. I really love it, and it makes me feel really good. All right, I'm gonna hang out here for a while still, eat my dinner, and just enjoy being outside. It's a beautiful day, and I'm feeling good. All right, you guys. All right, y'all. So it's just past sunset now. That means it's time to start settling down for the night. No more artificial lights after this. It's time to rest and recover. When the sun goes down, after we get this last bit of infrared light in for the day, that means it's time to sleep and give our body the signal for it by keeping it dark. So it's important we take time to rest at night and don't trick our body into thinking that it's daytime anymore by staring at screens with artificial blue light or man-made LED overhead lights. So if you can keep your artificial lights to a minimum after sunset, it's really going to help you get to sleep and get good rest. I had a long weekend and finished the camping trip up, so a long last few days of a good time, but it's time to really get some nice rest, and I'm going to sleep really well tonight, so I'll be ready for tomorrow. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening, take it easy, and get a good night's sleep. I hope you guys do the same. All right, good night.